Okay, so you guys can get started. I'll come back in probably around 9:15.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Good luck.
I'll call this meeting to order at 8:06. We respectfully acknowledge that the Township of Cavan Monaghan is located on the Treaty 20 Michi-Sagi territory in the traditional territory of the Michi-Sagi Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to First Nations for their care for and teachings about these lands. May we honor these teachings. I'll be asking now for approval of our agenda. Motion by Zach.
Good.
Seconded by me. This is just three of us.
I automatically wanted it. I was like, no, you're not.
So going forward, probably you and I. We have no closed session today. First up, we have Michelle and Chloe speaking to Christmas in the Village. And just a note that Christmas in the Village is also under general business, so we're bringing that forward to speak on it once the two of you are finished.
Okay. Okay, so after watching the last meeting that took place that we weren't here for, I think there was a lot of misinformation that took place around Christmas in the Village and where money was coming from, what we were doing with the money, where we were at. So hopefully this clears everything up where we're at. Michelle has been very thorough about keeping a live updated budget that's accessible to everybody at all times. So if there is ever any question about where we are, what's being spent, where we're at, everyone is always free to access the Google Drive that she has created that is live and a working document. So at this point, I think, Michelle, if you want to continue on.
Thanks, everyone. I'm Michelle. I think I've met most of you before. I'm not on the BIA. I don't own a downtown business, but I'm good friends with Chloe, and here we are planning Christmas in the Village. And so what I wanted, ahead of time, we provided a progress report in case you just wanted a bit of a sneak peek as to where we're at with things. There's an electronic copy, and here in the room, there's paper copies if you want to have a quick glance. In speaking, we sat and spoke with Kathy on a number of occasions and wanted to come today to, one, provide a general progress report on where we're at, just out of interest and in case there's any questions. Specifically is to present you with kind of the features and components of our budget so that you feel comfortable with that as it goes forward. We are starting to bring in significant revenue and we'll need to start incurring some expenses as well to start closing the loop on things. So we wanted to make sure that the BIA felt comfortable with that. And then more just some general discussion points. In speaking with Kathy, there was some ideas around maybe having, if not a BIA booth, some things at the like a BIA presence at the day. And so we can talk about what some of those ideas are. The other is what materials are, the infamous locker, what materials are available in the locker. One of the things we're trying to do is gather across Mexicom, the Legion, the BIA, where there are materials, decorations, things like that available. The township, we've been speaking with them. We just want to make sure that we're not purchasing things that are already there for use. And right now I'm actively kind of finalizing our volunteer roster. So if there's anyone within the BIA who would like to volunteer that day, we're definitely open to that and I'll take your name. So I'll pause there, and Kathy or others, is it okay if I just give a quick verbal progress report based on the on what we submitted? Okay, great. So in the outline, and for any of this, if you need any more specific detail either today or you want me to email you anything afterwards, I can. But essentially there are, like at a glance, there's sort of three main blocks to the day. The first between 8:30 and 12 is a breakfast with Santa feature, which is new this year. Having it during the day allows us to sort of spread things out over the course of December 7th. That's at the Millbrook Legion, and the Legion has been wonderful in providing us the space, the staffing, and the food to be able to do that event. And it's designed as 2 sittings at 8:30 and 10:30. The Legion gave us the parameters for 100 people per sitting. We've been selling tickets on Eventbrite for $15 per person, 2 years old and up. And some of the activities that we'll have at that feature include a buffet breakfast that the Legion is hosting, some games and prizes. You get a picture with Santa, a horse-drawn wagon ride, and a small keepsake that each child 10 and under gets to take home. And I can give you, in a minute, I'll let you know kind of the progress for each of these features as to where we're at. The next main component of the day between noon and 5 is more the traditional village and marketplace. Chloe has been doing a lot of engagement with and promo with downtown businesses to make sure or ask them to kind of participate, have some promos, and we're looking to feature some of those things over the next couple weeks. In particular, Millbrook Valley Chocolates is going to be the official hot chocolate stop, and the Peddler the official coffee stop. We have the traditional vendor marketplace with makers, food trucks, and community groups. And one thing we're working on with Brittany this year inside is a cookies and crafts feature in the old Mexicon building where kids can come in and decorate some cookies, do some crafts. Somebody forwarded me an artisan who's a ventriloquist, so we may try to get him to do like a 1-hour kind of feature. And that's an area too where there is a washroom, and it's a chance for people to, stop in for maybe half an hour and warm up as well. Between the vendor marketplace, the downtown businesses, we're also going to have sort of 2 other activities on the main King Street. The first is like a lounge social circle area, so sort of 4 clusters of where people can sit and socialize. We've moved away from open fire to patio heaters, and apparently Bridget confirmed this morning that the township does have 3 patio heaters that they can lend us, and there's just a notification that I have to give the fire clerk for that. And then there'll be some Adirondack chairs, some wooden stools, some tables so that people can eat as well. And then the final activity on the street is a music stage. The township is donating the trailer, like the flatbed trailer, and the sound system. And we've secured a lineup of local musicians, the school choir, and the dance group in town who will do some various performances throughout the day.
On that note, I have spoken to TAS about previous events, and just timing wasn't right, but TAS is the integrated arts school for this area. That's where the music program is, drama, dance. And if they could, they would be very interested in, the timing worked out that they would be interested in one of the bands coming or
awesome.
Something.
Is that
So,
TASS if I Google it?
Thomas A. Stewart Secondary School.
Okay.
I can give you the information
Great.
for that if you want.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. And then the final kind of feature to the day is a tree lighting at 5 p.m. The Firefighters Association has confirmed that they'll have the tree up by between November 30th and December 5th. We've engaged the school community around having the school choir there and also putting out a bit of a call to the community to bring ornaments if they want to decorate the tree, whether we keep them up over multiple weeks, I'm not sure, but it's a chance for people to sort of interact with that. We've also connected with Millbrook Food Share, who's running a campaign at Foodland that day. So we're going to advertise that to make sure that people are donating food. And we have connected, the Legion is running their toy drive. So we'll make sure that we advertise that as part of Breakfast with Santa, but also throughout the entire day so that we can collect for that piece as well. Maybe I'll just give a few progress and highlights, and then we can go specifically into the budget because that's the more sort of technical part. So a full logistical planner has been created. Chloe and I have weekly meetings. We've had regular meetings with Kathy, with Bridget at the township. We've met a couple times with John at Cabin Community Policing to understand what their interaction will be on the day, as well as the school downtown here. We've been trying to get in touch with North Cabin as well. And a revenue expense progress update as vis-a-vis this report has been provided to Zach. You may have seen online, we've done some branding design and social media and a print campaign with lots of interest and engagement from the community to let them know about this event. Oh, one thing, sorry, I forgot to mention it, as part of the Christmas in the Village component, and you may have seen it online, a local professional photographer is providing mini sessions to families. That's a paid kind of service. We're not making money off of that, but it's a way to kind of profile a business in town. And we've been doing some marketing and campaigning around that. Related to kind of more broad news and by way of progress, broad advertising outside of social media, Chloe's been taking care of and working with Millbrook Times. We were in the November issue just a few days ago. The print copy for Kawartha Now has been ran by Chloe, so that'll be printed soon. And then there's a radio station in Peterborough who's going to be doing a shout out as well, with specific mention of the toy drive and the food drive, because they like to sort of profile charitable pieces. We've been consulting with some local artisans and businesses like Early on Child and Family Center, some local bakers to help us with the cookies and crafts. And we're trying to sort of move on that. I've also been in touch with Peterborough Public Health and the health inspector to understand what the vendor requirements are for anybody with food, what the requirements are of the Legion, and all those sorts of things. So we've been moving through that as well. And also with Orca, the Autonomy Conservation, to understand how we can use that mill barn or the Needler Mill for some of our photo vignettes for the photographer. The horse is secured. Earl has been paid, and he's hired, and we've mapped out his route. A road closure amendment has been submitted to the township to accommodate the day, including the horses. We have collaboration with and commitment from Nexicom for use of Allen Lane and the Nexicom building throughout the day. As I noted, we filed for a special events permit with Peterborough Public Health. A paid duty officer application has been submitted for Peterborough Police to help with the one intersection related to the horses. An Orca application has been submitted for that little bit of grass that we want to use for the pictures. We've collaborated, we were exploring the keepsake. I know one of the points of conversation at the last meeting was giving a trinket versus something kids can eat versus the other. And so Chloe and I have been working on like a chocolate or a candy that kids can receive, but also I think many of you know her, Jana. She runs the cider, yeah, and you maybe have seen her 3D Christmas ornaments before. So she is willing to work within our budget to add like a Christmas ornament keepsake to the little like chocolate that kids receive. So we're pretty excited about that. A Santa has been secured. What is his name? I just always call him
Steve.
Steve. His name is Steve. He's from the area. He starts growing his beard in July, and he is
pretty good.
An amazing likeness to Santa.
Very much.
As well as I think she lives between Millbrook and Coburg, somewhere along the highway. A photography student from St. Mary's in Coburg who is going to do the photography as part of her volunteer hours as well. Nice. And we've been working with her on that and working with Santa on what that'll look like. As I noted, we've confirmed performers and musicians for the Merry Music Stage. So we'll get in touch with TAS, but to give you an idea of what that is, essentially kind of every hour, there'll be about a 15 to 30 minute performance. And then in between time, Joe from the barbershop will play Christmas carols and Christmas music. Yeah, some of the performers are more typical musicians. So Georgia Rose was a performer that Kathy, as well as John from Primerica, had mentioned to us. So she's kind of a solo artist. She's going to come. The Colton sisters, they're often at the farmers market, so they're going to come and do kind of a cappella music. The dance studio from downtown. A lady contacted us from Oshawa. She's been at the farmers market, who's been trying to get into kind of the Peterborough market for, it's like a baton corps, like, you know, the flipping of batons and things. So they're going to do a performance as well. And so kind of a mixture of interactive things for the kids as well as music. So we're looking forward to that piece. As noted, we've been doing a lot of engagement with downtown businesses, including some dedicated features and promos. Folks may have seen online that the Joneses is doing a Millbrook Christmas sweater this year. So we're going to, I have this, I still need to go buy my Christmas sweater. But we'll be sort of doing some of those features for businesses who have something special that day. And one thing that we've pared back a little bit, but we want to make sure there's sort of a bit of waypoint signage that day, is working with a local gal. She does a lot of our printing for hockey. doing some signage that day to recognize our sponsors and some of the major waypoints, and she's able to do that. She does it for us at cost. She doesn't take any kind of profit for that, so that's good as well. So coming up, we're continuing with our revenue generation efforts, and we'll go through the budget in a second. Chloe and I, based on what's available and not available, will be sourcing and making some decorations and props for the day. We're building and formalizing our volunteer roster. We've done a photo promo session with our kids, unpaid children, to feature the mini photo sessions. And we're moving pretty quickly into the article in Fourth and now in the radio shout out, and also just organizing final meetings with our contributors and partners over the next, gosh, we have like 3 weeks until the event, so it's coming up quick. So that's kind of our general progress. I'll stop there to see if there's any questions around the features, the people, the contributors and partners, and then I can outline the budget in a little bit more detail.
Any questions?
I know it was a lot, but it's here.
It is all there.
Yeah, the only thing I have is I'll have the check for you guys for the horses today for Earl.
Okay,
So,
for Earl,
if someone can stick
Yeah.
around or
Sure.
we can meet up some other time.
Sure.
Anything from anyone online? Put him on the spot.
Are you there?
No questions, Michelle, but fantastic job so far. Super impressive how you've carried this.
Thanks, Ryan. Can I move to the budget? Is that
Yes,
okay?
please.
Yeah, that's probably the most important part. So in the copy that I sent around yesterday, there's a link to our full budget where you can see kind of, as Chloe said, the working and live checks and balances between our various revenue and expenses. So it is a living budget. The projections that I put in the paper report copy are as of November 5th, because I had it, we had it ready and submitted it last week, the date of the report. But take the shared copy that's online as sort of the single source of truth. But I'll just go through kind of the big buckets of revenue and expenses and where we sort of hope to land with this. So by way of, sorry, turn this down, that's my laptop. People are getting excited at work. I'm starting to get Teams messages. So by way of revenue, we have sort of 4 to 5 major sources of revenue to help offset our expenses. So the first, in speaking with Kathy, there's $2,000 allotted in the BIA budget.
I'll just stop you there. That's gross expenses, just to be clear. Carry on.
Sorry.
The $2,000 was budgeted as gross expenses.
Yeah, so 1,600 for horses, 300 for advertising, and 100 for supplies.
Right.
Yeah.
With the expectation that there would be $900 in revenue for a net of $1,100.
Sure.
So it's all good. I'm
Yeah.
just pointing that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I realize that's probably the only line that's not like a pure absolute expense or revenue, so we'll just have to make sure that we allocate for that 900. By way of, one thing that Chloe and I tried to do this year in terms of engagement with downtown businesses is to bring in some sponsorship related to the event. We had put together a bit of a sponsorship kind of outline in the ways in which folks may want to contribute money and how they would be recognized both in print, in like verbal, as well as posters and signage. And so we're happy to say that I think we hope to be in kind of the $2,000 to $3,000 range for sponsorship. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 businesses committed. And I know, Zach, we've talked about the funeral home also potentially putting in sponsorship. So I think for that, we're probably going to land in the range of like $2,200 to $2,300 in sponsorship from downtown businesses. And that includes Rethink Hair, Revive, Millbrook Dental, the Lions Club, which is $600 directed specifically at the horses, Nexicom, as well as SureNet Insurance. And we may, over the next week or so, get a couple more sponsors. We'll see. We're definitely open to that, but it does help significantly offset expenses.
So as of now, you've got more than the 1,850.
Yeah, we're actually at
1950. And I expect it's going to grow.
Yeah, and so we might get to 2,500. We'll see,
Excellent.
but yeah, we're definitely happy with that.
Yeah.
Our other significant source of revenue is breakfast with Santa and the $1,500 tickets.
$15 tickets.
$15 ticket. This is a gala
Nice,
event.
nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
black jar. Yeah. But little tuxedos, little penguins. So So for Breakfast with Santa, while the tickets are $1,500.
$15.
Oh my God, sorry, you know what I mean. You guys, yeah, are $15. Less the Eventbrite fee, we actually make $14. Actually, I have that wrong, 15. I'll have to figure it out. At any rate, there's an Eventbrite fee of, I think I have that wrong, of $1.23, I think it is. It's not $5.23.
Oh, I thought it was. No.
So
Isn't it
we
70
make-
cents per, they take 70 cents per ticket?
I'll have to look at
Okay.
the calculations,
Sorry.
but we don't make the full 1,500. But we anticipate the revenue coming in if we sell all of our tickets to be just shy of $3,000 for those projections. And as of this morning, I think we have sold, I can look it up, but we're at like 178 tickets sold.
You're going to sell that
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
So we're hoping to sell out. We're going to put out one more call on social media. It's actually the 10:30 sitting is completely sold out. And it's the 8:30 sitting that is shy by about 20 or so tickets, maybe 22 tickets. But we know that there's some other folks who are interested. So we're hoping that that'll sell out likely by the weekend once we do our final push on that.
Any possibility they could add a third sitting, or is that too, no?
I think that the reason why we couldn't add the third sitting was they're starting to get ready for their roast beef dinner in the
Yes.
afternoon, and also really wanting to tie the horse-drawn carriage ride as like a fun feature of that. And then the crossover with the afternoon event, I think ending by noon logistically made things a little bit easier. But knowing that this was successful, I think like maybe adding a third sitting next year potentially and starting the vendors a little bit later might be another way that we could do it.
It's an awesome revenue source.
I've had calls from people really disappointed that they couldn't get tickets for the 10:30.
Yeah.
And then tried to get into the 8:30 and then had issues with being able to, you got people wanting to get like 6 or more tickets all at once. And maybe Eventbrite doesn't let them do that?
It's set so that they can buy 10 tickets in one order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I set it at that just so people didn't accidentally put in like 22 tickets instead of 2 tickets. But I think that, it's set at that you can get 10 tickets per the order. But if you get those questions and you take their email, just get them to get in touch with me. And if even in the back end, I could increase it like for an hour so that they can do that.
But you don't want to do that at this point because you're selling out. And
for sure. And it's been great that the Legion has contributed the time and energy to that. So working with them again or expanding it and having it bigger or even doing another one on the parade day at the CMCC, there might be some different ways that we can do that. Or doing a lunch or brunch. But
Next year, not
next
this
year.
year.
We're definitely excited at the engagement from the community around that for sure.
Yeah.
And the other is the vendor marketplace. So we were at $60 per vendor. That was the amount that was set by the BIA. And I think that, let me just see where we're at. So that we make the $60 on that because the vendor actually covers the Eventbrite costs for that piece. And for vendor registration, I mean, with the real estate that we have, there could be 30 vendors there. Like we have enough room for that. But at this point we are at, and it's not all marked in the Eventbrite yet because for food vendors, in working with Peterborough Public Health, in addition to the insurance requirements, they also have to meet very specific food handling and food safety requirements, as many of you know. So I'm working with a couple of food vendors who haven't registered yet, but they're working on their paperwork. So I think between artisans and food vendors, we're at 14 confirmed right now, and we're hoping to uptick that and get pretty close to 20. So I think modestly, we hope to hit $1,200 in revenue from 20 artisans / food vendors. For the food vendors, we have, I always forget the name. It's a barbecue. It's like Stuttering John's, Jumping John's, something like that. It's something ING John. That'll do barbecue stuff. There was a guy on Instagram who got in touch with me who has a mobile pizza truck. If he doesn't end up working out, Papa's Pizza Land in Peterborough has a mobile pizza truck as well. And there's a new, I think it's out of Ajax, it's Indian food that they're opening like a new truck in Ajax. So she was also very interested. So some of the people we reached out to, they don't do winter trucks. They kind of end sort of late fall. Other people have other events going on, but we're hoping to have at least 3 food vendors so that there's some variety and the lines don't get too long. And then I think some of the downtown businesses like Moody's and the Mercantile and the Peddler are going to do some food features as well. So there's different places for folks to go and eat. And then the fifth source of revenue, and this is a question mark, I know it was just sort of some ideas that Kathy and I were batting around, was last year, I think you said, Kathy, the BIA or some folks did an auction that brought in about $700. One of the things Chloe and I were going to pitch, another thing, while it's not revenue, is the BIA grab bags with the downtown business coupons that I know, Kathy, you've done in the past. So I guess
only for the car show.
Oh, for
because,
the, but like,
because the Lions asked for it. But,
right, but
yeah.
it's something that could be, I guess it was just Chloe and I, we were wondering, like, pitching it back to the BIA, that if you wanted to have like a booth or some real estate or a section at the marketplace to do the coupons and or a combination of the auction, that would be a way to bring in some revenue.
But we'll leave it with you guys.
The auction isn't something that we can necessarily take on.
I think we
but
can come back and organize that if it's feasible.
Yeah, if it ends up
rather
working out.
than hash it out here.
Sure, of course, yeah.
So we'll have a meeting around both of those
That sounds
ideas.
good. But know that we'll reserve some real estate in the vendor marketplace for the BIA or somewhere on the street if you wanted to have a spot and do some of those ideas. You can keep us posted. So I think we hope to be kind of mid 8,000 for revenue, maybe get to 9,000 if we get a couple more sponsors. But we feel kind of comfortable and confident with that number. That 8,700 does include a potential auction of 700. So know that we're in the range of like 8,000 to 9,000. Like it's a little bit fluid right now. And then by way of expenses, so some of these are absolute expenses and some of them are variable depending on how many materials and things we can source that's already available. But the horse-drawn wagon rides with the 2 paid duty officers, Earl has increased his fees for the horses. He charges HST, and then hearing the different rules from the township. The horses and the 2 paid duty officers come in at just under $3,000. The key, I'll skip over decorations for just a second. The keepsake, so the breakfast with Santa keepsakes at about $4 per child, whether it be a chocolate and ornament or a combination of the two is $400. And then we know that advertising is another absolute cost with Millbrook Times at $226. We did hear in our conversations with you, Kathy, that while Kawartha now has a line item associated with it, it's based on a previous commitment that comes out of a different line item, so we did not include that in our budget.
We actually have their invoice now through Timmy, but it didn't come in time to be on this check run.
Okay.
So that'll be paid after our next meeting. And I assume they're okay with that.
And then the other line items like decorations, signage, entertainment, performers, photography, materials, propane for like the social circles. Those are all like a little bit fluid and flexible where we can bring those costs down, you know, in whatever ways we need to and gear some things back. Like, for example, for decorations, we had kind of $500, but we're hearing from the cathedral in Millbrook that they have a bunch of Christmas decorations where we can decorate our stage and stuff. So that's something where we'll save money. I'm hearing now that the township has the heaters. That's like $500 in savings to not have to rent heaters. So like, know that those amounts are like, we may end up saving significantly if we can source them. Santa is a cost. So he charges, I think, $150 per hour. He's a pretty professional guy, but we were able to get the photographer for free of charge as an example to help offset that. The other is, so for the performers, most of the performers are doing it in kind because it's like advertising for them. The Colton sisters like to do more like a busking style where people drop in coins. They don't ask for a fee. Georgia Rose asks for $100 for the 45 minutes. So there's a little bit of there's a little bit of cost associated with that. I think for Chloe and I, the 3 biggest expense items, the first is, and this is something we want to pitch, and it could stay with the BIA, and we could have it year over year, is they're like these plywood 3D Christmas trees that we would build that we paint in kind of bright colors. So there'd be like clusters of 3 along the street that would be attached to the lamppost. And so the plywood for that, we have a contractor who's willing to give it to us at cost, would be like about $300, for example, if we go forward with that. And then the other, as we noted, we want to have some waypoint signage, some parking signage, some horse and wagon signage. And we, the lady who does that for us, she's out in the country in Cavan, that's about $400. So there are some bigger ticket items that would be additions to what we normally do. But all in and all said, even with some of those higher anticipated costs that we actually know we're going to save, with the $700 potential auction at this point in time, and it's updated from the paper version because I've adjusted some of our expenses, we'll probably be in the range of $1,000 to $1,700 in surplus for this event if we kind of stay within our expenses and meet our revenue targets.
So
And I'm not sure if we're allowed to make money off of it. That was another question
no,
that we had for
absolutely,
today. Yeah.
Christmas in the Village has never made money. It's been a loss, and in the budget that was set last year, we expected to spend was it $1,100? So you're well within that.
Yeah.
And that as a loss, and it looks as though we're gonna make money here.
Yeah.
So you're not asking for additional funds.
No, and no next, whatever.
Right.
Last year's Nexicom funds. We're not asking for any more money today.
So
That's not why Brittany's here.
Yeah.
Look at you later.
Yeah.
I think turning this into a daytime event
has helped
given us
significantly.
many more options of things to do.
To do,
and
yeah.
ways to
Yeah.
make some money as opposed to the very short nighttime.
Yes.
Everybody's happy with it being a daytime, and you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
And I don't know if there is we probably need to have a motion here to approve this budget, but we're not actually, we were expecting to give you more money if necessary.
Yeah.
But you're not needing
Not
that.
needing any
No,
more.
not at all.
Yeah, so,
I would say just after this, then we accept.
yes, once we're finished, we can motion to accept the report. It's more like accepting a report.
Sure,
Right.
yeah.
We're not even like,
We're not asking for anything.
Yeah.
No.
exactly. Okay.
I think the one nuance, and we chatted with you, Zach, but for the purpose of the group, is that many of these things we can invoice for, like Earl's expenses and things like that. But some of these more kind of fluid pieces, like purchasing of decorations and things, we just wanted to confirm that Chloe and I purchased that and then get reimbursed, because those are things that we can't, we can't typically invoice for. So just know, either leading up to or right after the event, we'll make sure we submit a check rec or a reimbursement form for that as one submission.
So Zach can provide you with a form once you get your
Oh,
updated forms.
I have it, I'll email.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
email some.
Great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
There might be some things like the guy that I work with who's doing the plywood, he might be able to invoice for it versus us paying for it and getting reimbursed. But there will be some like point of sale costs that we have to like purchase and incur, and we'll submit that afterwards.
Yeah, so December's board meeting would be the 12th of December. So to get checks then, I'd need everything by like the 3rd of December.
Okay, well, everything will be purchased by then.
Yeah. There may be like.
Ideally earlier.
Yeah, I know for sure Georgia Rose, I'll have an invoice for her so that she can get paid like just shortly after the event. But yeah, it's kind of, we have this sort of petty cash concept, just so that we can keep things moving.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. No other questions? Any questions, Ryan? Always call it the people we lose online.
Are you there, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm here. All good. No, I'm still quite impressed. Well done, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if any of you want to volunteer, please email me. I'll put you on the rock. Brittany, I already have your name down.
I was just gonna say,
Your
I'm
name is
already,
already down.
it's the day after our Christmas party too, so
Oh.
you really are getting.
Thank you.
Keep it together, Brittany.
Yeah.
Keep it all together. Thank you very much.
All right.
Oh, and maybe I wanted to say thanks to Brittany for all the support you've been giving, and Nexicom will be removing the speed bumps. I
Oh,
wanted to know that.
fantastic.
They're already gone.
Oh,
It's
wow.
safer for the horses and people on Allen Lane that they're not tripping.
That's great.
And let's
Thank
everyone
you.
pray for good weather, start doing your rosary beads, and we'll be connecting with some of you for final meetings, but we look forward to seeing you at the event.
Yes,
Okay, of course, you're both welcome to leave or stay.
we'll probably head out.
Yeah, cottage.
All right, so, Ryan, would you like to motion to accept this report? Would anyone else like to motion to
I will.
receive?
Sorry, I'll second it. I couldn't get off mute.
Okay, so we have Timmy and Ryan.
Great.
And
Thank you.
Let me know when we can get together to pay that check for all.
Oh yeah, do you have it here?
It'll be in finance. We'll tap it
Okay.
out.
Okay, I can pop by. Would you have it at the funeral home? Okay, I can pop by.
Are you at work today?
Today I'll be in and out, but tomorrow I will be there
Can I
from
drop
9
it
until
off?
7:30.
If I dropped it off,
Yeah, you can drop it
I
off.
get someone there to
Yeah, give it to Crystal.
Crystal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay.
All right.
I'll let her know that you'll be dropping it off.
Yeah, I'll try and hopefully do it today.
Okay,
Away tomorrow.
okay, perfect. I will let her know. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks.
Okay, bye guys.
All right, now, before we move on to the website proposal, I do have a report from Bridget regarding the cost of our page on the township's website. So basically, the way it's worked out is that the township maintains at the cost of $3,367.35 two business directories, and we are charged 50% of that, which would be for this year $1683.67, and I'm not clear if that includes HST or not, but so this year we will be paying $1683.67 with or without HST. I understand that goes to March of 2025. And if we want to be trained to if we want to appoint a person to maintain that website, we have to have training and we have to pay for our own training. I don't know what the cost of training is. A little bit of history, most of us know, but maybe some of us don't, like Zach. When this website was set up for BIA, it was probably 5 or more years ago, and the person who maintained it on our behalf is no longer with us. She was actually a member of the decorating committee. And so since then, Bridget has been doing it for us. And I'll just leave it at that. Is that what you were looking for, Timmy?
Yes,
when
yeah,
you,
that was the
okay.
information.
And you have the email from,
Yeah, I didn't
from
see it till
Bridget?
today. So I was at the office. but-
Okay, and I do have a copy of the bill to the township. The total bill, by the way, is over $11,000. So our $1683.67 is, as I said, based on 1/2 of the business directory. I'm going to turn it over to Brittany now.
I feel a little nervous after their.
Yeah, that was pretty good, though.
That was really, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have as much information, but I did send you guys a little bit of information on what I wanted to propose. I'm proposing that we move the BIA website over to Wix, and allow it to become more of an independent piece. I believe that this will help not only with budgeting, but I think with promotion of the BIA, allowing us to have our full hands on it. So right now, hearing that the current spend is over $1,600, we would be looking at, and what I quoted was $440 a year. We can also discuss hosting with Nexicom, but we did not include that in this $440. This would be what it would cost for the BIA moving forward to have the website hosted and maintained by myself. I would be doing this as a volunteer basis for the BIA, sitting on the marketing committee, as well as being an employee of Nexicom. I do want to help the BIA strive. So I would like to come forward and create a new website for you guys. I'm not sure what the next steps would be. I would say we would move to hopefully launch by March 2025 when this next one comes up for renewal. For me, I would just need to know things like where we're currently hosting the domain, which is probably with Nexicom, since we have your emails and everything.
No, it isn't. It's GoDaddy.
Oh, it's GoDaddy. Okay. Even easier, honestly.
And that has been paid for last year. I don't know if it's an annual renewal, but it gets charged to Kate DeClerc's credit card. Because back when we bought the domain, Kate was on the board, and it's just been going forward like that. It's a very small fee.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, usually domain costs are not very.
Yeah.
It'll be the actually hosting cost that will be a little bit more expensive, is having the website on Wix. But I believe in the proposal, we get a domain name with that hosting, so it's included in the
Right.
fee.
And I think included in your financial statement was email hosting from Nexicom. We already have that with Nexicom.
Exactly, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Questions for Brittany?
Oh, I would also like to say, just because you did throw in that training and maintaining piece, Wix is used universally.
It's very do-it-yourself.
I was going to say it's very do-it-yourself, but there are also so many tutorials online, so many resources that Wix gives, and I don't mind also being a point of contact to help train in whatever way I can. I've been using Wix for more than 10 years, I think, at this point. So
if it gets turned over to someone else, or there could be two people running it, once it's set up, how many hours per month do you think?
I think that would 5 hours per month I can for sure
I
commit to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even think it would take that.
I was gonna say two, but honestly, like if there's some months that maybe it's not so much, and then other months maybe there's a little bit more that we have to do. Maybe a couple more businesses open and we have to create some profiles, or
So if we were paying somebody to maintain it because we didn't have enough expertise or time to do it ourselves, what would one normally pay on a monthly basis, do you think, for 5 hours of time? I don't even think it would be 5 hours.
I was gonna say we'd probably be looking between $25 to $50 per hour. So
right. So up to $400 a month. Okay, so if we were to, I'm just trying to do a comparison here. If we were to, well, I mean, even if we were continuing with the township website, we may have to pay somebody to. So I guess it doesn't really make any difference.
I think the goal with having it in our court is that we would be doing the updating. We would be in full control of all of those things. So there wouldn't as much be a cost associated with that. So the 1,600, we don't have to justify.
Yeah, the 1,600 is just for the platform. It's not for the person to. Bridget's been doing that on our behalf for free, and quite honestly, it's not her job.
Exactly.
It's not her job.
And we had a marketing meeting last week, and we discussed the website idea, and the marketing committee supports the BIA having an independent from the township website. Okay, so you got 4 votes there.
Okay. All right. So
can I jump in here for a second before I do? So Brittany, I mean, I get a platform thing, but what about content? I mean, we've had the ability to make the content, whatever we want to make the content, for the last 5 years. We really haven't done a whole lot with it. What's preventing us from just keeping the way it is and doing a content refresh. And along with your proposals, I mean, you've financially proposed a different platform, but what about the concept itself? Like, what are you proposing the website to look like, to feel like, to do?
Our intent, the big intention in this, I think, is to make it more user-friendly and more easily accessible. So someone could type in Millbrook BIA and come right to it and get all the information.
Well, they can now. That's just a domain thing.
Well, if you look at
It's
our
not easy
BIA
to
site,
find.
it's not easy to find, and there's not a lot on there right now.
I was gonna say, I think
Well,
with
but what changes?
Right.
I'm sorry, but changing a platform doesn't change your searchability.
changing a platform can change your usability completely.
The end user ability, exactly. But we're not even trained on this one. So, I mean, anyway, whatever. My comments are
Brittany's
quite simply, if you're planning on changing the website, it would be good to see the conceptual design ideas before we just
If
flip
you're
platforms.
comfortable with that, I can come forward with the concept. I've already started on something, so if you would like in the next meeting, I can come forward with
sure,
what it would look like.
I think this is a marketing committee endeavor overall. And it should be brought forward to the marketing committee next meeting.
yeah, we can have another meeting and then we can bring it back to the conceptual idea.
And
for the next
Ryan
meeting.
can come to the next meeting.
Yeah, we can do that.
No, this isn't a marketing meeting endeavor. This is a major change in the way we do business. So it's great that you can present it a marketing committee, but I think you have to bring it back to the board whether we're going to change platforms.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't bring it back to the board. I'm just saying that if you would like to be involved in what it looks like conceptually.
No, I don't. I don't want any involvement in what it looks like. I want to know what it's going to look like
So that's
in order to make the decision to move off the platform that it's currently on.
the
I'm not gonna start building something that you're not gonna
Yeah.
use.
we could even look at something you've already done for
Because
someone else just to get an idea of what it could look like, maybe. Yeah, because I don't want you to put all the time and effort into it if we're not going to do it for sure.
Yeah.
But
So-
Yeah,
we can come back with some visuals for the next meeting, but I really would like to make a decision on this by at the December meeting and finalize it.
Okay, so, and I would say, I've said this before, one of the workshops that I attended at the OBIA conference in May of this year was about websites. And I don't want to get into it too much here, but one of the strong suggestions was that you put all the people on your committees on the website. Who are we? Who are put a face, pictures.
Again, Kat, that's just content.
Right.
Yes.
I'm talking about content here.
Yeah, we have the ability to put whatever content we want on our website. We just don't. So why is that going to change if we move?
Personally, I find our township website not user-friendly, and I'm a pretty techie person. So I think if we have our own independent, that's where I think that the BIA can shine, and we can make sure that it's all the things we want it to be.
So what we're saying is we're going back to the marketing committee, and the marketing committee is going to prescribe the content. And then we've got until March now, we know, to make this move. And we'll bring it back to the board meeting in December. But in the meantime, the marketing committee is going to work on what the content looks like.
Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. And if you have concerns with content, come to the marketing committee meeting, I would say. If you're not concerned, then it'll all be presented at the December meeting. And in the meantime, we want to encourage Brittany to go forward.
I'll come back for the next
Okay.
one, and I'll have some more information.
Right.
Right. But sorry, but what does go forward mean?
Well, it means that she's going to listen to the marketing committee, which she sits on, to create the content. What do we want the site to look like?
Right. So this is the part that I'm asking for, right? Like, show me conceptually what you're trying to change it to. Right. Is that not what my request was?
Yes, and Brittany's shaking her head, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Somebody make a motion to
okay,
receive
I
report
motion
or,
to receive the
and whatever else you.
report. And who's gonna second?
Okay.
Okay,
And I guess I'm putting my all in favor.
okie dokie.
Ryan can't put his hand up, but we're just receiving, Ryan. So your hand's up. Yes, it's hands up.
Okay,
All
There
right.
it is.
Oh, isn't that cool?
oh, there we go. Okay. What's next?
Okay, next on the agenda. Minutes of the October 17th, 2024 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review them?
Yes. I only had a spelling error that I saw. That was it.
Yeah, and there's $1,000 missing off of, just dropped off, I think. No, that's on the agenda. No.
All good?
I'm gonna- Okay, so. Somebody motion to accept the minutes?
Yep.
Approve the minutes, the word would be approved. Timmy, do you want a second?
Sure.
All
I
in
can't
favor?
spell.
Can you put his hand up again? Thank you, Ryan. And I am going to sign them now, and since Sarah's not here, are we okay with Zach signing the minutes with me today? Does anyone,
I don't know.
because you're attending at the office of the treasury here, I'm going to suggest that you sign on behalf of Sarah
Okay.
and hand these in, because this is what they want.
We can always ask Bridget when she comes back.
So just
So I only had till 9 o'clock this morning, folks. So I gotta drop now.
Oh, what time is it now? It's 9.
So if you leave, Ryan, do we have quorum?
Yeah, you got 3 sitting there, right?
Yeah.
3 out of 5. So you're good.
Okay.
Three out of 6. Stacy's still on the board, but
No, you're only counting to the minimum. So the
okay,
minimum board is 5.
thank you.
So three people passes you
Agreed.
for quorum.
Okay. Well, I
All
think
right.
we've covered everything, and thank you very much. And the important stuff, the rest of it is, we'll fill you in later.
Perfect.
Okay,
Good luck.
thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Brittany.
You can stay if you like, Brittany.
Oh, I'll go, work on some conceptualizing.
Um,
Have a good day.
Okay. So
That looks like it's just
the
2 of you.
treasury report. And that's turning it over to Zach. We have no business arising from the minutes. except as contained elsewhere in the agenda. Zach, you're on.
Okay. As of yesterday, finally had access to the bank account. So this
Yay!
was started by Kathy. So opening balance 62,505.44. Deposits.
You don't need to read through them all. Just give us a total there.
Total deposits $5,555.89. Checks cleared $10,866.35. Balance of October 31st, 57,194.98.
Okay.
Anything else?
We'll just carry on to the check requisitions, and then we'll have a motion to accept and pay.
Okay.
Okay.
So check requisitions, you've got Earl Cochran, which is the horse guy for Christmas in the Village. So that's $22.60. That is the tax included, all in the price there. Paul Duck Farms from the Decorating Committee, $944.58. A reimbursement for Susan Rice of $523.13. Reimbursement for Sharon Rofi, $279.08. The pre-committed Legion honorarium of $200. The Peterborough Police for the paid duty for the Fall Festival, so $13.40.50. The yearly OBI AA membership of $281.01. Vendor refund for Ken Fines of $60. Foodland, that is an AGM expense of $232.34. And then the community care donation, and that should be $1,000.
That's where we'll just put in $1,000. So when you do your minutes, Timmy, just add $1,000 to that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the donation based on the filming revenue from the commercial.
Right, okay. I will make a motion to accept the treasury report and pay check requisitions as listed.
I'll second.
And Zach would be in favor, I would think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
I don't think I missed any. This is my first go around. So.
Okay, good job. And I think all those checks are available now.
They should be anyways.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Filming revenue update. So we have now received into our bank account $2,000. I think this was in November. That otherwise it would have appeared on our treasury report. This was for one of the tall pines. There were 3, so we've been paid for 2 now, I think it is. And we still don't have funds in from the community care commercial, notwithstanding we have a check going out. I am proposing, and I don't know how we make this happen, but I'm proposing that we do our own invoicing for filming going forward, because the invoicing seems to be happening months after the fact, and it's caused some confusion specifically over the community care commercial. Because they got their invoice only recently for something that happened in July, and there was maybe some misunderstanding that we were just waiving the fee. And at least if we're not going to do our own invoicing, we should be advised when the invoice has gone out and what it looks like, and have a copy of it. I'm not looking to for a motion here. It's just my suggestion, and we can take it up next meeting when we have more people around here, including Bridget.
Well, I think it's something that's going to have to go to the powers that be in the office here.
Yeah.
To determine what we can and can't do, and then go from there.
what we can and can't do. Well, we have circulated an email via Bridget on this, and I mean, it's not her, it's a systemic thing within the organization here, like how is this going to work, or how has it been working? Anyway, the good news is that we do have $2,000 more than we did last month, and there's still more money coming. So I have, you can just make a notation on that one. I don't think there's any kind of need to accept a report because it wasn't really a report. And then 9.1.4, budget review. I don't feel like we have enough of us sitting here to do that today. But this is the statement that was provided by the finance department, which compares our approved budget to our actual up to the end of September. And I'm going to defer that to next meeting, if that's okay. Unless you'd like to take it up now, Zach. Right, okay.
No, I prefer not.
Okay.
If I'm honest with you, I had minimal time to look.
Right, okay, let's defer that to your next meeting. And then moving on to general business, the decorating committee update by Ryan. I'll try to pick that up for him.
They've been decorating the Christmas stuff.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything in it was a very short report that set out their dates for doing their work schedule. And subsequent to that report, I did have a call from Susan Rice only yesterday just to let us know that she's stepping down from the financial piece that the decorating committee has been doing. In other words, she's been doing the budget. She sets out their budget, and she also fills out the forms with for the reimbursement. And she's going to step down from that, but she's training a new person who has come on to the decorating committee. Her name is Lori, and Lori will be meeting with Zach. Now Zach knows.
Very good, yeah.
I don't know Lori.
That's okay, no worries.
And so we have a whole new year with a whole new process. And so Susan's not removing herself from the decorating committee. She's just
taking a lesser.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just doing the fun part.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. And so at the end of the general business, we'll call for a motion to accept all reports. And under marketing committee update, we have Timmy.
Okay, so we had a meeting, Allison, Brittany, Chloe, and myself. We did talk about website. We talked about the door hangers. Brittany's going to update that. We're probably going to print with Vistaprint or Bannerbuzz. I talked to Brad. It's not feasible for him to do, because I do like to keep things in the town if possible. Distribution, looking at students to deliver the bulk of them for volunteer hours. The big thing we talked about though was dates for events. So this is something we discussed last time, is setting dates for events. And I've got dates for all sorts of things, but I'm gonna just focus on the things that the BIA is more responsible for here. So we talked about all the dates of things that happen within the town, and the fact that there seems to be a lot of things going on in the fall, and lots of people really miss the spring into summer event. Now, some people like the fall event too, but we do have the Zucchini Fest in September, and then October is Get Your Spook On. So this coming year, we've proposed that we do a spring into summer event and negate the fall event for this year. And if need be, maybe we help support the Zucchini Fest in some way. Not sure. And a lot of feedback. So I did a survey, and a lot of people like Ladies' Night. A few people had some issue with some things at Ladies' Night this year, but and then actually the car show was one that a few businesses felt that the car show actually brought more people into the town, where they actually went into the businesses and looked around. Which is totally fair.
Ladies' Night?
Not the Ladies' Night, but just some of the events in general. They get more people in. And then some of the businesses over that aren't on the main strip felt that Get Your Spook On was good for them, because people went looking at it for other businesses to take their kids trick-or-treating that day, and it took them to businesses they've never been to before. The flip side of that is some people do not like Get Your Spook On. They feel they spend a lot of money for, getting nothing in return. But it is kind of an outreach and a fun thing for kids. So, it's kind of about the kids there, I guess. Some suggested Get Your Spook On any day but a Saturday. I don't know what other day you would pick. I asked if there was an event that people would like to see the BIA host. Sidewalk sale was one. Something prior to Canada Day. A men's night. Suggestion for a 420 event. It was, although probably unethical, a 420 event would be fun, which probably would be. A lot of people said, keep it to 2 or 3 events max per year. We were doing 4 before, and I think the business are finding it too much. And then, raffles, interactive things where, the businesses could hand out swag, or you have to play a game at a business to get a discount, or like something to get the businesses and the patrons more interactive. And then there's a suggestion, which I think this year with what's proposed for Christmas in the Village is looking much more like someone mentioned. Fenelon Falls has a big Christmas thing where they actually coordinate with all the churches and the groups for all their bazaars and stuff, and everything happens on this one day. And parade, and they give out free hot chocolate, and there's a town crier that's telling you what's going on here and there. So there were some great ideas there. With the information we got, we kind of came up with a little bit of a different proposal, and I'm sure we'll get some pushback on some of this. So we're proposing May 31st to do a spring into summer event. So it's not June, because the fair is 2 weeks after that in June. Then we've got the car show, which is probably around July 5th. And then rather than do a ladies' night, we're proposing July 24th. July 24th. I think did we keep it on a Thursday night? Let me just double check here. Yeah, July 24th, so we kept it a Thursday night, is to do a buck and dough night. So it's a men's and a ladies' night. So everyone can go. We could have, like, we've talked about ideas for it. We could have a little section with, like,
take care of the man.
Darts and cards and whatever. And women can go to that stuff too. Like, because not all women like all the girly stuff that we do for ladies' nights. So
I'm one of them.
We thought a buck and dough night could be fun. And a lot of men do come to the ladies' night. So let's gear some things towards them as well. So we kind of brainstormed a few ideas for that, but that's our proposal, is to do a buck and dough night as opposed to ladies' night. And that would be July 24th, a Thursday. And then August 23rd, which is a Saturday, we're proposing that we do just a sidewalk sale day and really promote all the businesses in town. We're not shutting the road down. We're not getting vendors in. It's just, hey, here's all the businesses in town. They've all got something special on for you. Like, come down to Millbrook.
And we'll just promote it. That'd be our part of it. Is that the idea? Awesome.
And then October 23rd, get your spook on. And I know there's mixed reviews on that. We kind of suggested shortening the time or maybe turning it into some sort of scavenger hunt. And then December 6th, Christmas in the Village with the potential of the Santa Claus Parade on the 13th was kind of what we came up with.
Okay,
And we need all the dates firmed up so that we can do the door hanger and get it distributed by the end of December, which is our goal.
okay. So of those events, the street closures, which we would have to apply for, would be
The 31st, the 24th, and December 6th. So just 3.
and that includes the car show?
Oh, the car show would be
We
July
don't
5th.
apply for that, but
No, the ones we're responsible for would be the spring into summer.
yeah,
So
so that would be a road closure.
yes,
Okay. And,
and then the Buck and Dough night
okay,
and
so
Christmas in the Village.
okay, the only thing I would ask about with the spring into summer one is that when we did our budget, we didn't allow for that,
But we're taking out the Fall Festival.
taking out the fall festival.
Yes,
Okay,
just because we've got Zucchini Fest in September and then October is Get Your Spook On.
okay,
So we've taken out one there and put one in May to kind of spread things out more through the year as well.
okay.
I tend to agree because the two big ones, the Christmas in the Village and the Fall Festival, are quite close to each other.
Yeah.
Are they?
Close,
They're like,
close enough.
well, it's October beginning, they're 3 months apart. October,
2 months.
2 months apart. Well, the only thing I would say to that is that when Sarah did a survey about our events a year ago, thereabouts, and the least popular one was the spring one. The
Yep.
spring into,
And then everyone's complained that we
and
didn't have
now
it
we're
this year.
flipping the other way.
So my proposal is, and we discussed this, it's like, let's try doing the spring one this year, negate the fall one.
Eliminate the
And-
fall one, so
then-
budget wise, it doesn't make any
No.
difference.
It's still 3 events. And then we can revisit next year, like what really did work better.
Right,
We're never going to appease everybody,
right,
and we have the flexibility to flip it as need to try new things is kind of the way I feel.
okay. Now,
I know you really like the fall festival.
well, no,
It's your favorite time. of year.
it is not my favorite time of the year.
Oh.
Personally, my favorite time of year is spring.
Oh.
And because fall is when winter is approaching and that's depressing for me. I love spring.
I love
but-
fall.
I find that in terms of people coming downtown, they're more inclined to do it in the fall than in the spring because they're, back to school and it's more of a community event, whereas in the spring, people are in their gardens and once you're into summer, people go north to their cottages and camping and so on. We're not a tourism destination. We're trying to attract our own community. And I just think that community is more inclined to be involved in the fall one. But that's just and it's not just my observation in terms of our festivals, it's my observation in terms of what I do for a living. People are just more inclined to celebrate and I don't know, it's,
It's a fair point.
yeah, I'm not, I personally, it doesn't matter to me. And I'm absolutely willing to try new things and switch it up and see what, maybe there's going to be a better turnout or more buy-in to the spring one than the fall one. The other thing about the fall one is that we are an agricultural based, historically at least, community. And in the spring, we wouldn't be offering that aspect. It's not harvest time. In the fall, you've got all of the farm-based vendors. And, but I'm going to go with whatever the marketing committee wants. I'm not going to try to dictate here. And I think that the events that happen should be directed by overall the marketing committee, not the board here. So if the marketing committee wants that, then I'm in favor of it.
Well, my feeling is we try it and see what happens. And, if we don't have a comparison. If we take out, we took out spring this year, we can do a comparison this time next year and say, which one worked better? Which one do we do?
Mhm.
And at this point, that's our first event of the year is now in May. So,
Right.
So that's a long time between Christmas event to that one.
Okay, I'm going to skip down to correspondence just to bring you up to date on something I've become aware of. So there's an engineering company. I don't think it'll matter, but I just want to bring it to the attention of our board. An engineering company has been hired by the Ministry of Transportation to do work on the underpass of the 115 at Lorimer Line. So this will close that underpass and require a detour route, which has been proposed to come right downtown Millbrook. So on the east side of the Lorimer Line, it's 115's on an angle, but so we'll say the south side of the 115. It'll be Tapley Quarter Line to County Road 21, right downtown Millbrook, to Tupper Street, also 10, and then up to the Lorimer Line, so that it'll mostly affect the residents on Lorimer Line that are used to going under the 115.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal.
No big deal. However, they need to know these dates. And I guess they coordinate with the township, or I'm not sure who else. They have to know at all times what the detour route is. And so if we're closing the road, that is their detour route, then we will have to coordinate with the township to bring people around what we normally do anyway. And this engineering company and the Ministry of Transportation need to be aware. I am told that this is going to happen between the months of May and September. So over the summer months primarily. I'm not saying they'll start in May, but they don't know either. So I think before we can absolutely set these dates, we have to ask for the road closures and make the company aware.
Yeah.
I don't see it a problem. In fact, if anything, I think it's a good thing because it'll force more people downtown.
Yeah. There's only 2 dates that would be affected in that.
So now this spring into summer event and the Buck and Doe.
Yeah. Buck and Doe, yeah.
And the car show, but we're not. That's not our biggie. Yeah. Although you've got some feedback that our Our downtown likes the car show.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. So with that, were you looking for some kind of a
Well, I guess we all
motion or
need to say, yep, those work.
can the three of us do that? I guess we can.
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to motion it on behalf of the, or
I
Zach,
probably
would you
should.
like to?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so we're not receiving a report. We're
Accepting the
making, there's
dates.
two different things happening
Yeah.
here. So there's a motion to set the dates for these three events, and you'll name them. So they are the Spring into Fall Festival,
Spring into summer,
Spring into Summer,
Buck
rather.
and Doe, and, well, sidewalk sale days,
Well, so the.
which isn't a
side-
road closure.
I
Get your
think,
spook
let's
on
just deal with
Christmas in
the road
village.
closure ones.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
I think
Because
so.
the other ones,
They're easier to move.
yeah, because we have to put a request to the township for the road closures. So I think that's what I'm trying to address here,
Yeah.
so that. And then it's going to be more complicated than that because, but we can deal with it later, but we don't know what the road closures actually look like. But we can deal with that later.
Yeah, I think these are gonna be standard, very similar. Christmas in the Village would be your outlier, if anything, like,
Well, it's not really standard anymore because it's been determined that for Christmas in the Village, for instance, it's not just King Street, it's the street in behind
well,
sections
that's what
of
I
it.
mean, but the other
Yeah.
two are just that little that one block of King Street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're going to motion for Christmas in the Village as
Yes.
well for the date?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to read out your motion for Zach? He can make the motion. But,
Motion to accept the dates listed.
or
For road
how about,
closures.
to request the road closures?
Okay. Request road closure.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motion to request road closure, that's a hard one, for May 31st, July 24th, and December 6th. Awesome,
I'll second.
okay. All right, and the only other thing I had quickly was, other things we talked about with the marketing committee is, you know, we feel that we need to attract new businesses to Millbrook, obviously. In the surveys I sent out, there was some mention of butcher shop, 100-mile shop, local farmers co-op, like a true bakery where it sells fresh bread, things like that were things that we're looking at. More social media training. How do we get, all the businesses participating in events in some way? And then just more information about Buck and Doe Night, but we won't talk about that now.
Okay,
And that was it for the marketing meeting.
okay.
Very good.
Now we've already done Christmas and the proposal for the new website and Christmas in the Village. So moving on to AGM. So invitations have gone out physically. We'll send an email. As we know, it's November 28th at Millbrook Valley Funeral and Cremation Center. And we have ordered refreshments from Foodland. We already have an invoice for that, and we will be presenting the budget just as a handout hold on. at 7:15, so we can have social time from 6:30 to 7:15, and then we can have a Q&A period on budget. Zach and I have mostly been working on this, and there was a question raised about my question: can we serve the wine that's been sitting for 2 years at the wine shop free of charge? Just anybody wants a glass of wine. We do need to take a license out for that.
Yeah. I mean,
And I don't know if Zach is able to do, it's about $100, $150.
No sale permit is $75.
$75. And I brought a bottle of wine for you to try.
Test it out tonight.
Test it out tonight. It would be within budget because our total budget is $500. We have no cost for the venue, compliments of Zach and his company. And so this would be an extra $75. I don't know if we need a motion to just go ahead.
And I'm smart certified.
I have one of the girls that I work with. I think I'm gonna have her come so that we don't have to be worried about that. To sort of volunteer and be a
Yeah.
bartender. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Plus, she knows the place and knows where everything is.
People can serve themselves under,
No,
no?
no,
You can't
that's-
even
you have to
not,
have a smart server. Yeah.
oh, okay. So it's not just having a person who has the smart serve license, it's,
Yeah,
they
it's
actually have to serve
it's
it.
a consumption issue. Like a
Yeah, I understand. I never even thought about that when we were
But
talking.
that's
about
okay.
it.
I have commitment from, like I said, one of the girls that I work with. They'll come to.
So are you still in favor of going ahead with
Oh, yeah,
this,
definitely.
providing that we like the wine?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think we should do it.
Okay. Okay, so, I don't feel we need a motion for this. I think we can just go ahead and do it, right? Because it's
Yeah,
within
it's-
budget.
it's-
We're not asking for any extra
That's in the
money.
plan.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna come in under budget. I think the food land's like $243. So.
yeah. Okay, I think that concludes that discussion. And for the next item, checklist for 2025 events to comply with the health, fire, and insurance requirements. Let's defer that one again until after the Christmas in the Village. And we have more people sitting around the table here to talk about it. So that was brought forward from last meeting. I was requested to do this by township staff.
But those two doing the Christmas in the Village, they know all this stuff and they're on it, so-
I would ask them to come be a part of creating that checklist actually. And well, anyone who has been involved in coordinating these events.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
think we need to have a separate meeting for that.
I agree. What do you think in terms of, is that a marketing? It's not really marketing. It's more,
Well, we can kind of piggyback it
yeah.
with that.
So after Christmas in the Village, we'll arrange a meeting, just a notation. After
Yeah.
Christmas in the Village, we'll get together a variety of members that
Yeah.
want to help direct that checklist.
That might be something we do in the new year. December gets busy for everyone for meetings, like maybe January, we get everything firmed up and our checklist in place and.
So how about we defer that to the January meeting then?
Well, I think we have to have a separate
No,
meeting
but
with the stakeholders, yeah.
as a board.
Yeah.
As
So,
a,
we'll yeah,
so we'll have a
defer to January meeting.
membership meeting to come up with it and then bring it back to the board in January?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's do that.
okay. So now we need a motion, please, to accept all reports under general business,
I can do that.
I'll second it.
and I'll be in favor. And 10.4, associate membership. We have no new applications. And we have one new regular member. So the business that was formerly called The Mill is now called The Brook under new ownership by Kiersey Shepherd, which closed on Tuesdays. And so we welcome The Brook.
Awesome.
Yes, we're going there for lunch tonight.
Yeah. Correspondence, the only piece of correspondence I've already mentioned. I was in a meeting with them subsequent to the correspondence earlier this week. And once we've established those dates, we'll go back to them, just so they know when they can get on with what they have to do. Now I will call for a motion to adjourn, please. Zach, and I will be second, and it is 9:37.
All righty, we did it. How do we shut this thing off?
I don't know.
Bridget.
How about we all just leave the room and go,
Yeah.
go get Bridget, if she's here. We have to,
I didn't see her. Poke her head.
She poked her head in a couple times. I did, no one was at your place the other day. I'll leave you a couple.
oh,
We don't have a
okay.
ton, but,
And I missed you yesterday when I went to your place.
oh, I was running the streets of Peterborough.
Okay. I was running the streets of Millbrook.
I did that yesterday. Early in the day.
So will we go over to the finance department now to sign checks? Is that sort of the typical-
Yeah, I have to sign the checks with you, so I will go with you. And
Zach, do you want a couple of these, even if you just put them in your staff room? I know,
Yeah.
like, I don't know,
Oh, yeah, I'll take a few of them.
it seems kind of tacky to put them on a funeral home, but if you want to,
That's okay.
you know, show
Yeah, absolutely.
your team, that's
Yeah.
great. Hopefully you see Bridget in your travels there and tell her to turn this thing off.